video is going to talk about the importance of a good teaching background, use of prompts, and developing your own teaching style. So firstly, why is a good teaching background so important? Well, a good background keeps children interested and engaged with what you're saying. If you have bright, colourful pictures behind you, they're more likely to want to look at you and listen. So you could have some relevant information on the back. For example, your name, so they can remember that throughout the lesson. You can also have some key, bright, colourful pictures like these, which can be used in teaching if the subject comes up. For example, we have some food up here, or different things you find in the sky, different animals, and over here we have different emotions. I find this especially useful for when you ask them at the start of the lesson, "Hello, how are you today?" And then if they're a bit reluctant to answer, you can just point to one of these and it just prompts them and makes them feel more comfortable to answer. Another really good idea is having a big map as your background. I used to have one of these and I found it really useful when having discussions with children about geography, anything to do with countries of the world, because you can ask them, where are you from? And then point on the map, or say, guess where I'm from. And it just really helps on building a good relationship with your students. Just some don'ts now. So it's best not to have any household objects just lying around in your background. This just makes it a bit too cluttered and distracting. Also, try not to have any furniture showing, as it's just a bit less professional. Just stick to the white wall or whatever you've made. So as you can see, my background includes some of these features. I also have these numbers, and having numbers on the background is really useful for games. So for example, if the lesson has a certain number of words and the students need to say these words one by one, you number the words and then you can point to one of these numbers and they say the corresponding word. It just makes it a bit more interactive and less boring than just saying the number out loud and then having them read it. So your background can also be used as props. I've stuck blue tack to the back of these so they can come off really easily and show them and then pop them back on the wall. Another key prop, possibly the main one for me, is using teddy bears. So I'm quite lucky as I have all my childhood teddy bears still, with a range of different animals. These are of course really useful for when teaching different animals to the students. However, they can be used for lots of other things as well. For example, learning colours, or parts of the face, parts of the body, and also personality characteristics. For example, you could say, "Do you think the lion is friendly?" Or, "What colour is the monkey?" Or, "Do you prefer giraffes or zebras?" So lots of different things like that. I've even used teddies to demo different dialogue or explain concepts like conversations. And overall, teddies just make children feel really comfortable and engage them brilliantly. Another prop idea is that if you're teaching something to do with music or musical instruments, then if you can play an instrument, maybe quickly show it to the students and play something very, very quickly, as it really just grabs their attention. I also have this handy colourful cube, which I made out of a tissue box. So when teaching colours to the students, it makes it really obvious what you're saying, and again, it's just interactive. Another funny one is, if you're teaching something about cold weather or clothing, you can show them quickly bits of clothing. For example, I'll pop on a hat, gloves and scarf during the lesson just to make sure they know exactly what it is, and again, it's just quite funny. So props and a good background are brilliant for keeping students engaged. This is the most important thing in a lesson, and it makes them comfortable to answer. Just make sure that everything that you're using is relevant to the lesson to make sure that they keep learning effectively. Finally, as a teacher, you will develop your own individual teaching style. For most, teaching English as a foreign language, especially online, involves you being highly energetic and as enthusiastic as humanly possible. Raining the students with praise, shouting then whispering keywords, and using more body language than Mr. Tumble. However, you can still have an individual style. For example, I think my use of props is a big part of my teaching. I also like to get the whole class involved to act out fun things we have been learning, for example getting them to roar like lions or howl like wolves or even pretend to be aliens. For me, keeping the lesson as exciting and engaging as possible while ensuring that targets are being met is the most important thing. so that's the end. Thank you for listening, everybody.